Okay, doing a short video here. It's on tailgate locks for the 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. I have a 2023 model, and there's several different locks out there. Most of them are junk. You can pry them off real easily with a screwdriver. They're just not very good. The old using a piece of rubber and a clamp, like a radiator clamp, doesn't work very well. The reason why is because all you got to do is take a screwdriver and a hammer and give it a good pop on between the cutouts on the band, and it'll cut right through them, and then boom, it's off. Not secure at all. Or if they have if it's somebody that's stealing stuff, I'm sure they're going to have a few hand tools prepared for pretty much anything. What they'll do is they'll just unscrew the clamp and boom, again, it's off, and no muss, no fuss. You got the McGuard locks. They can be pried off. They're not very secure at all. They just pry them off to the side, and then they can pop the tailgate off. Same thing with some other versions. DZ has one that same thing, only it's like a metal piece that wraps around and clicks, but it's such a thin piece of metal and so cheaply made that the little pin hinge in it, you could, again, just pry it right off, no problem at all. Then you come to this style of lock. The SaBellCo is the best one of all of them. And the reason why is SaBellCo uses a quality lock, quality keys, and they make the lock out of a piece of aluminum block. So it's CNC machined. It's a very tough piece of aluminum. If you hit it with a hammer, you're not going to shatter it. You may put a little dent in it, but that's about all. But it's not going to shatter and break apart. So 1, 2, or 3 hits, you aren't going to do anything other than put some marks on it. It's not going to shatter and break away. That's the one on the right. The one on the left is one of the 2 knockoffs being sold on Amazon and maybe other sites as well. I don't know if they're selling them on eBay or not. I wouldn't doubt that they are. They copied the SaBellCo lock. One of them is called Tavaski, Tavaski. The other version of it is called Guziko, Guziko. Now, I may have mispronounced those. Apologize if I did. However, both of them use cheaper locks, cheaper keys, and they're made out of cast aluminum with zinc. And that's a very weak material. You give a good smack with a hammer on those, and they're either going to break apart in chunks or they're going to shatter. It's just not the same as a block piece of aluminum that's been CNC machined like the SaBellCo. So those two, while they look like the SaBellCo, they are not the same quality of materials. Then there's another one out there, and boy, do people go ape over this one. And I don't really understand why, because it is probably the most insecure solution of all of them. And that is this one right here. This one bolts on with the screw on the tailgate, and that's what holds it on, just a screw on the tailgate. Many people have stripped out the head of the screw trying to get it off, because a lot of them, the screws are in so tight they just can't get them out. Those that got it to turn, some of them ended up stripping out the threads in the tailgate. So that's not good. Evidently this guy will sell you, along with this, a security Torx screw as well. And all that is, it's just like a Torx screw, only has a little pin in the middle of it, where the Torx bit slides down into the torque head of the screw. That little pin will keep a standard Torx bit from sliding in. The problem with that is you can buy security torque bits anywhere. So again, somebody that's stealing tailgates and knows about all these things, they're just going to have a security Torx bit already. It'll slide it right on, and they'll have their ratchet, and within 5 seconds they have it off, because one, you've already done all the hard work of getting the original screw broke free. The new screw going in isn't going to be nearly as hard to take back out. So if you buy this kind, it's easy to remove. They pop open your tailgate, get out their little Torx bit and their ratchet, or they may have an electric drill with a Torx bit on it, and they just run that one right out and slide that off, and it's off. It's laying on the ground behind your truck or next to your truck, along with your security Torx screw. Then they pop off your tailgate and they're gone. It's just that fast. Literally just that fast as to about the time it took me to explain it. So I would avoid this one at all costs, because this one offers zero security at all. And this isn't a deal of you're trying to keep the honest person honest, because the honest person isn't going to go around opening people's tailgates to try and steal them. And really, if there's anyone trying to steal something, they're really not honest. But the so-called, to keep the honest people out, that would be if you have a nice set of tools sitting in the bed of your truck and you don't have a topper, and they walk by and go, oh, hey, that's real easy to get. They just grab it and walk off. That's what's called to keep the honest people out. When you would purchase a topper or a tonneau and they don't even see it, they walk by because they didn't even know it was there. So if you're looking for a tailgate lock, avoid the ones off of Amazon that are the knockoffs, and you can see the design of their keys, you can see the design of their lock. While the barrel lock looks the same, it is a cheaper lock. And then the body of the unit, again, it's made out of cast aluminum and zinc, and it's very easy, very brittle metal. It will shatter, or it will break off in chunks. Stick with the SaBellCo, and you're going to get a CNC machined lock body, or body on it. You're going to get a quality tubular lock made in both these items here are made in the USA, and you're going to get a much higher quality set of keys as well. So if you're looking for a tailgate lock, while the SaBellCo is going to be your most expensive option, if you price out a tailgate and all the parts it's going to take to replace your stolen tailgate, you're going to find that the $100 or just over $100 this one's going to cost you is actually pretty cheap, because a tailgate, by the time you purchase it, buy all the parts for it, they get assembled, get it painted, you're looking at about $2,000. So this ends up being cheap insurance. So if you're looking for a tailgate lock, I highly recommend the SaBellCo, and avoid the knockoffs over on Amazon that are selling for half the price, because they are just made out of too cheap of material. And this one here, I think the guy charges between $25 to $35 for it. He likes getting paid through that Zello, I think it's Zello, and that site is bad news. That's, people can break into that and steal your account money real easily. Trust me, I know that one firsthand. Someone broke into our bank account a couple years, about 3 years back or so, and they started sending money to themselves through that Zello, Z-E-L-L-O-W, or Zelly, Z-E-L-L-E, yes, Z-E-L-L-E, Zelly. Bad news site. I would never send money through that. I want nothing to do with that deal. When something happens, you're on your own. The banks will not reimburse you for anything, so stay away from that site. I guess he'll take, a PayPal and some other form of payment. I think he's just started taking PayPal, but he doesn't have a website. He's just doing this in his garage, I guess, from my understanding. But again, this is the most insecure tailgate security piece out there. All you got to do is unscrew the screw and rotate this one up and out, and you've got the tailgate just that fast. So SaBellCo is the way to go. It's the best one of all of them, and I would highly recommend it. I hope this information helps out somebody that may be looking for a tailgate lock.